Hello everyone, my name is Xingning Gao and I will be introducing participatory culture in this video. First of all, what is participatory culture? According to Henry Jenkins, participatory culture is an environment that everyone can participate via media. It can be defined by 5 conditions. Low barrier, which allow everyone to be able to participate. Strong support for creating and sharing one's work with others. Informal mentorship, in which experienced members pass their experience to novices. Valued contributions, which means that members believe their contributions matter. And social connection, allowing members to feel connected with each other. Jenkins concluded 4 ways that people can participate. First, affiliations, which refer to the membership of online communities in different media. Second, expressions, people producing their own work in creative forms. Third, collaborative problem solving, which participants work in teams. And finally, circulations, shaping the flow of media. Such participatory culture creates a kind of ideal learning environments, which James G. named affinity spaces. To explore why people learn more actively and deeply in these informal learning cultures, Jenkins then compares and contrasts informal learning with traditional formal education and concludes that informal learning is experimental, innovative, provisional structured, localized, have freedom in moving in and out, and can fulfill short-term needs and interests, while formal education is conservative, static, institutional structured, bureaucratic, have no mobility and little change in the long term. So why should we care about participatory culture? As mentioned in the chapter, participatory culture has strong support for creativity, while creative process is valuable on its own. Other positive influences include improved writing skill in fan communities, promoting peer-to-peer learning, and better fluidity, multitasking, and collaboration skill when spending more time in new media environments. Let's move on to my reaction towards this reading. I agree with most of the opinions stated in the chapter, especially the analysis of informal learning environments. After viewing the differences between formal and informal learning, I think the most important quality for informal learning to be attractive is its freedom. Unlike formal education, there's no deadlines, no official judgments, and no punishments or consequences in informal learning in media. Whether people participate or not, what to participate, or how to participate are completely up to them and their interests. According to the self-determination theory, autonomy is the most essential psychological need for promoting motivation. When they have freedom of choice, they are more likely to be internally motivated. So when people autonomously participate in media, they are driven by intrinsic instead of extrinsic motivation. However, this leads to a question on my next slide. We can integrate technology and media in classrooms, but what about interests? Today, many teachers have already integrated technology in teaching, especially after the pandemic started. Whether willingly or not, we have to use technology and media to keep learning from distance. So, integrating technology and media in classrooms is easy. But I believe that the main point of participatory culture is to participate voluntarily because of interests. Of course, teachers can ask students to collaborate or participate in online assignments, but most of the times, students are only doing so because that is an assignment. Thus, even though they are using media and technology, they may not benefit from it as they benefit from real participatory culture because, in fact, they are still driven by extrinsic motivation as they do in traditional formal education. In short, I think doing coursework online does not equal to participatory culture. The question on the slide is not emphasized in the reading, and I think it needs to be further explored. Thank you for listening.